Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching. It's Thursday the 15th of May. Getting ready for some unsettled weather to come next week. Of course, we've got fine weather over the next few days, or have we? Because high pressure's in control, yes, but there are all the signs of some heavy showers across central and southern parts of the country, I think, developing on Friday afternoon. And there's Thursday, warm front just moving its way east through Scotland, taking some cloud and rain with it. High pressure in the south, bringing warmer, dry conditions here. High pressure across the south again on Friday. Here it is, centred across southern parts of the country, but that doesn't tell the whole story. I'll show you why in just a moment. Cold front coming into western Scotland, that bringing some outbreaks of rain there. Now the problem is through Friday, I think there will be some showers developing, although it's dry for most of us. This is the shower risk for Friday afternoon. It's the forecast QT for Birmingham, and we've got the temperature line running up here in red. We've got the dew point line here in blue, and then there's a grey line, you notice, look out towards the right hand side here of the red line. There it is, going up there. Now that's the forecast trajectory that a parcel would take given the heating of the day, and you can see how that goes all the way up here, look, to sort of 350 millibars. Now when it's to the right of the temperature line, that means that the atmosphere is unstable, and an unstable atmosphere is one that gives you showers, and that's certainly showing all the signs of isolated torrential showers during Friday afternoon across central and southern parts of England, and perhaps also eastern and southern parts of Wales. And that's something we need to be aware of, because that is certainly showing signs that we could find that situation taking place. And we do have warm air coming in through all levels. The wind is veering with height, so it's going from a southwesterly up to a northerly actually at high levels. So we have this veering wind with height, which means that we've got warm air advecting in as well. And if we look at the risk for Saturday for Birmingham, notice here, look, notice how the grey line is not as far to the right of the red line here, and also notice, look, the section between the red and the blue is much drier, so a much lower risk of showers in the Midlands then. But if we look at London for Saturday, just look at that, moist in the medium to the upper levels of the atmosphere, and very unstable as well, so indicates that the showery threat actually slips eastwards and southwards during the course of Saturday. And there is the chart for Saturday, and there is our trough, look, marked here across southeastern parts of England. Many parts of England and Wales dry, sunny spells, very warm as well, but that trough line certainly indicating East Anglia, southeast England, central southern England, the eastern Midlands at risk of catching a heavy shower, a torrential shower on Saturday. Cloud and some outbreaks of rain for southern Scotland and Ireland because of that front. Sunday sees rain out towards the north and the west, some of it quite heavy, but for most it's a dry start with sunny spells. But I do think there'll be some showers developing across northern England, Wales and southwest England in the afternoon. Most eastern counties dry and very warm. But that just sets us up for more widespread showers possibly on Monday. And on Tuesday too, as low pressure takes control. And with this southeasterly flow developing, could be some heavy bursts of rain across England, Wales and eastern parts of Scotland, but dry for western Scotland and for Western Ireland as well. Now the reason for this changing conditions is that this trough out in the Atlantic is going to push in, and it's going to replace the ridge that you see here. It's going to cut through the ridge so that by the early part of next week, look, the trough is well established across the west and southwest of the country. Where this low is going to be is still super critical, because at the moment it's forecast to track northwards next week, which keeps most of the UK in the unsettled weather. But it may be that it does stay a little bit further south, in which case Scotland, northern England, probably northwest England, Wales, perhaps northern parts of Ireland will be much drier, but we'd still find the rain across eastern and southern areas, although it is going to be warm in the east given that south-southeasterly flow, or at least humid. Now here's what the CFS is doing right now. This is the prediction of rainfall for the next week. So this takes us up to the end of next Tuesday. And you notice here that it's highlighting the fact that most of the rain is in the west of the country. Now week 2 taking us up to the 28th, which is into the middle of Whit week. That's showing, look, most rain towards the east and the south, pretty heavy rain there as well, less out towards the west. And then what the CFS tries to do is to slowly build in pressure out towards the west. And the effect of that, look, it pulls the low down into central parts of France. Look how unsettled it is here across central and southern parts of Europe. Rain affecting eastern and southern parts of the British Isles at first during this period, but drier weather, look, in the west. And that trying to indicate that the area of high pressure building across the north, yes, still got some rain across southern areas running into the 11th of June, the week up to the 11th of June. But then it tries to build the high in, bringing dry weather to most during the week 5 forecast, before breaking that down into week 6, and all of us getting back into a far more unsettled flow, probably from the east into week 6. So the CFS does still see some dry weather in there. It just is going to take time to get rid of this trough. And this is the forecast 500 millibar flow for the rest of the month. So this is for the rest of May. And you notice, look, this ridge out towards the east, the ridge out to the west, and the trough here. So we've basically got that pattern that the CFS sees. What that would do would bring the most of the rainfall across western and southern parts of the country during the next week or so. But then what it's trying to do is to build this high back westwards. And if we just skip forward into July, because it's a very similar pattern for June, look, what it tries to do is to bring the trough through the country. It has the ridge out towards the west here, has another ridge in the Atlantic, so it's trying to do that once again. So what it will keep trying to do is it's trying to stay with the similar pattern, i.e. that low pressure gets into the west, it slips down southeastwards, it brings in this east to southeasterly flow across the south of the country, which brings rain at times, but northern areas of the country tend to stay dry and constantly trying to pull us back into this easterly flow. And actually it probably would be a fairly warm pattern on this. So it's trying to set us up to some fairly warm and humid conditions, particularly across southern parts of the country where it could be wet, but northern and eastern areas tending to be dry. Now don't forget, this is just from the CFS, so it's just one model, but it's just interesting to see how it's trying to develop its story here. And this was the temperature forecast for Birmingham for the next 6 weeks. Let's just expand that for you. There you go, so it's easy to see. Here's this increase in temperature look over the coming days into next week. Then we fall off, look, early next week. And then we start to see this pickup in temperatures taking place late, well, middle to late in Whit week, which is this high trying to get itself back in. Never particularly very hot, but always tending to be more on the warmer side than anything else. So the CFS telling an interesting story. We'll have the Japanese Met Agency output for you tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to do a comparison with that as well and see where we think that things are going to go. But I think at the moment what to take from this is this pattern setup of the ridge out west, the ridge out east, and the troughs trying to come through, breaking through the British Isles and western parts of Europe is probably okay. And I think the idea that for the next month, the southern parts of England, central parts of Europe, particularly parts of the Western Med and into Spain, could be really wetter than you would normally expect. Okay, so I'll leave you with that for now, but once again, thanks for watching, and whatever you're doing, keep the sun shining, and have a great day. Bye for now.